Hey guys, it's Ashley with ARC Properties, and I'm here with Jake with M2 Homes, and I'm here with Chris at Bell Bank. Chris, thanks so much for being here with us today. And tell us a little bit about Bell Bank and how you guys are different than other lenders in the area.
Yeah, so Bell Bank, we're a $16 billion bank with a B. I'm a local Prior Lake guy. We're a local mortgage company. We do everything local. We fund all of our mortgages locally. Our banks are local. Underwriting's local, everything's local.
And do you serve at like every price point, or what do you?
Yeah, so kind of our sweet spot is, that under 800,000. We love this stuff up to 2-3 million. We'll do it, we're good at it. But we do it. We have a little niche in that, 800,000 and under for one-time closed construction loans.
You had mentioned something too about a first-time homebuyer program. Yeah. So talk a little bit about that and how it might serve like an M2.
Yeah, so the first-time homebuyer programs, there's a lot of them. Being in Scott County, doing a lot of work in Scott County. Scott County has a great program. It's a free $8,000 grant for a first-time homebuyer. There are some little niche things that go along with that. First-time buyer, there's some income limits, but it's a great program. I think they only do 15 a year. We'd have to dig into that a little bit. It changes every year, but it's a great program. I do a lot of them. Great for a first-time buyer, and it's $8,000. And I think they do change that every year. That may go up or down, but this year it's $8,000.
So what does that look like for a first-time homebuyer program in those counties as well?
Yeah, so every county is just a bit different. Some counties offer a first-time buyer program or a grant. Otherwise, we're going out and shopping around to try to figure out where we can get them some money. Okay. Financing with Bell, being a preferred partner with M2, there's some incentives for a first-time buyer, for a buyer building with you guys. Grants up to $2,500 that Bell provides.
Oh wow, awesome incentive. So $2,500 incentive just by going with Bell Bank. Fantastic.
Again, income limits.
Is that exclusive then, Chris, or what? Is that Bell exclusive, or can other lenders offer different programs?
It really depends. It's a Bell exclusive product, but other lenders can offer it through different means of financing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And when we were talking recently, Chris, you were just kind of rattling off various things that maybe not only like the first-time homebuyer programs, Bell Bank offers some things. Yeah. Like when people are considering, maybe they're renting right now, right? And they're thinking, gosh, can I even build? Is that even an option? Right. How would you take somebody that's in a rental situation, and what does the process look like in helping them through that?
So the process is really similar to just purchasing a brand new home or a new home. That process looks like getting pre-approved, sitting down with me first, figuring out what you can buy, what you can qualify for. We're not doing a construction loan, so it's a purchase transaction. M2 would be building the home. Really no different than if they walked in and purchased a home. Mm-hmm. So really it's the qualification, sitting down with them, figuring out what their exit strategy is out of an apartment. And then again, digging a little bit deeper into what they have for money, payment, down payment. Do we need to get them some down payment assistance? If they are building with you guys, what's that look like as far as a preferred partner? What kind of incentives can Bell give? Yeah. So we have some stuff worked out with you guys where, we're throwing out some pretty nice incentives if they finance with Bell. So really it's sitting down, maybe an hour conversation, and kind of just chatting and figuring out what they can do.
I love that. And there's a couple things I think we work really well with you, Chris, just because I think you're just the everyday guy that just really meets people where they are, and it's just a comfortable conversation to have. So there's that. And then it's actually a really good idea probably to just have that conversation with you first to just determine, am I a 300 guy? Am I a 350, 400, 450 guy? To determine then how Jake can serve them in building that package.
That's really kind of the first step, is figuring out what that is. Are they 300? Are they 500? Are they 800? Rather than sitting down with you, that's like putting the cart before the horse.
Indeed.
And instead of burning a bunch of time with you guys looking at a 800 when their comfort level is 500. So start with me, and let's figure out, maybe you qualify for more than you want to spend. Yeah. That's a conversation now in the last 2 years that we've been having. You can qualify for 1.3, but really I only want to spend $750, and that's fine.
Yeah, the payment kind of drives that, right? So
well, sure, yeah. So when you start looking at payment, and if someone, when you're looking at a couple $100,000, that could be, a couple $1,000 a month or whatever. So we take and really kind of figure out what their appetite is for payment, And then we work the numbers backwards and then have that conversation with the client, with you. Hey, this is kind of where we're going to be. This is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And then you guys can kind of come in with, guns a-blazing and go.
It really, after they have that conversation with you, it really gets them into action mode, because then they know what they're able to buy, and then it just becomes a quick.
Yeah, and I think once they dip their toe in the water, I love that saying.
Yeah.
Once they dip their toe in the water, they're kind of ready at that point. We've collected all their documents. We've looked at everything. We've talked about everything. And then I'm giving them to you guys going, we're ready. Or that conversation might be, we're ready in 6 months. So.
It really bridges the reality of starting that journey, right? Because the housing can be the fun part, it can be the exciting part, but just people are nervous or fearful getting there, right? Like, how do we get there? And then Chris, you're kind of that starting point, and you kind of bridge what we do and meet them where they're at.
Really, Chris is the bridge from where they are to where they want to be, which is
Well, that was the conversation that you and I had, transition.
Yeah.
Right?
Transition.
It's the transition going from their current home into a new home, or their current living situation, whether they're living with mom and dad or an apartment, into a new home.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not always, a build. Maybe that is transition to something else and then build. So maybe that client is a year and a half, maybe 2 years away from building.
Right.
But at least we're starting that conversation.
Planning.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And Chris, you've coined the 4 Ds. When we talk about life transition, you've coined, what are these 4 Ds that you talk of?
Divorce, diapers, diamonds, death.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Indeed. And so these are like life transitions that can be very heavy. A lot of times it means a shift in housing for a lot of people. And that on top of everything else can feel like just very overwhelming, but it doesn't have to, right? So when they call you and they're going through these things in life, just walk them through what that looks like.
Yeah, so it's really the conversation. It's the conversation starter is, I've had a life event. What's my next step? Most of the conversations start with, Chris, you've been doing this for 30 years. Where do I start? I haven't done this. I haven't bought a home in 15 years. I don't know. I don't even know what to do. I remember it was really easy when I did it, 15 years ago. We still make it easy. And I think one of my strengths as a local lender is I meet people nights, evenings, weekends, holidays, after work, mornings, early mornings. So I really adjust my schedule to them.
And you do. Very approachable. Chris's phone is always on, which is just a very, it's a great plus with you, Chris. You're always really serving your clients very well.
It's an emotional process.
It is. And, and what we try to do is kind of take the emotions out of it just a bit. And everybody just goes back down to normal playing field and talk and have a dialogue. And sometimes, again, it might not be the right time for someone.
Right.
But we guide them through that. We counsel them. Sometimes it's maybe not doing a mortgage. It's not talking about financing. It's counseling on, hey, you had a life event. Where are we going to get you to? And what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself in a year or two? And it is actually kind of fun when you have these conversations with people and they go, you know what? I'm not quite ready. And your phone rings a year and a half later and they're like, hey, you remember me? Things have changed.
Yeah.
And it's fun. That's a great conversation.
Yeah. And Jake, you do that so well too. I think, when people are shift into the Moderno brand a little bit and share that some people are just wondering, is acreage our thing? Is it not? We want to make that jump, but it just seems so daunting. And I think where you really shine in the Moderno brand is taking people where they are and then just exploring those conversations. Maybe it's even that we draw a plan, price a plan, and then we determine is that now or is that in 1, 2, 3 years, right? And you both meet them at that place, right?
We've had those conversations, and that's fun when we start there. And Jake and I will have these conversations going, hey, this is kind of where we are, but we're not ready yet. Yeah. But we have a plan drawn.
Yeah.
Are they ready? Yeah, we're ready. So, that is the fun part.
And it's an education, right? That's what you're really educating the buyer to, set aside the fear or the doubt of, where they're going and how to get there. You're just, it's an education so they can make the decision, based on their situation.
Yeah, and I think that there's a beautiful, awareness too of, just because you tiptoe in, it doesn't mean that you need to dive, right? You won't get in too far or feel like you're in over your skis. We're always making the next best step, and when it doesn't feel like it's the right time, you can shelf it. We can,
You ask the question.
That's right.
Well, and I think all of the homes that we've done out here, I've financed most of them, and the conversation with, the majority of those buyers are, Moderno's great. They really take their time. We love the process with you. And I think all of us collectively, I mean, we hold their hand, and after everything's all said and done, which I love, is it wasn't scary. It wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
And
when you're working with the right team.
Well, when you're working with the right team, and again, when Jake's calling me, or you're calling me, or I'm calling Jake, everybody's answering the phone, the clients call, and we're all approachable, we're all answering the phone. Unlike other people, when they build, they have a really miserable experience. Every single experience has been great for these people, and it's fun. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
Being able to see a finished product, and knowing that.
And it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys so much for being with us today. I appreciate it. If you want more information on things that we've talked about today, feel free to reach out to Chris at Bell Bank, Jake at M2 Homes, and myself, Ashley, at propertiesbyarc.com.